Hello students, welcome back to yet another video of our same chapter, that is chapter 15, some natural phenomena. Now in our last video lecture we learned about the various natural phenomena and what is electric charge. Then we learned about how the electric charge is produced, and we also learned about various types of objects that are charged and uncharged objects. Then we learned how charge is produced by friction. After that, we learned that how the charges are getting affected by the bodies when we are rubbing them. Okay. Then today we are going to learn about how this charge is produced in the body when we are rubbing them, or when there is a friction between both the bodies. Now we all know that whatever objects there are around us, they all are made up of atoms. Now these atoms, they also possess this electric charge. That two electric charges are proton and electron. Now protons, they are positively charged, whereas our electrons are negatively charged. Now the protons, they are held very strongly to the nucleus because they are around the nucleus, and whereas these electrons, they are away from the nucleus, and so they are loosely attached to the nucleus. And so when there is any friction, that means when we are rubbing one object to another, at that time we can transfer these electrons from one body to another body. So that means these electrons can be transferred very easily from one object to another object by rubbing. Now these electrons, they are negatively charged. Now when an object loses electrons, that means when an object is losing electric charge, electron, that is negative charge, at that time the object gains positive charge. Listen very carefully. When the object is losing electrons, when object is losing negative charge, at that time object is becoming positively charged. But when the object is losing protons, that means positive charge, at that time the object becomes negatively charged. And this is how the transfer of electrons helps our body to produce charges. Now how these charges are interacted to each other, or what kind of interaction these charges are having. Whenever we are taking two opposite charges near each other, they will attract each other. That means a positive charged object will always attract a negatively charged object, but it will repel the same positively charged object. That means you can see then minus and plus, they are attracted by each other. Okay, attraction, that means there is a liking between two of them, and so they are attracting each other. But whereas when we are bringing the same charges together, that is negative charge and positive charge, they will repel each other, they hate each other, and that's why they go away from each other. So we can say that the same charges object attract each other, whereas the opposite charges always attract each other, whereas same charges will always repel each other. Now why this oppositely charged objects are only attracting each other and not same charged objects? Now whenever we are taking any charged object to near the uncharged object, what happens at that time? The oppositely charged objects are produced in the end of the uncharged object. Like for an example, I am taking this comb. Now my comb, it is positively charged. Okay. When I am taking the comb near the bits of paper, at that time what the comb does is it creates a negative charge in the bits of paper, in the nearer end of bits of paper. And so by this process of electric induction, by which it is producing the opposite charge in the paper, they will attract each other. Now we learned about electric charges. Okay, so how we can come to know whether any object it is having charge or not? This can be learned, or this can be detected by using an instrument which is known as electroscope. Now electroscope is an instrument which can be made at home also. We can perform this activity uh, over here you can see in the figure, we have taken different objects. The first one is the metallic pen. Now instead of metallic pen, you can also take a cardboard to cover. Okay, then a metal rod is taken. Then this is a glass jar. You can take a plastic jar or a glass jar, and to the metal rod we have attached this foils. Two aluminum foils or two aluminum strips you can attach to the metallic rod of your electroscope. Now what you have to do is just take a glass rod. Okay, now when we rub the glass rod to the woolen cloth, it produces negative charge in this glass rod. So whenever we are taking this negatively charged glass rod near the electroscope, that is near the metal rod of our electroscope, positive charge is getting generated in this metallic rod. Okay, and the negative charge, whatever is there, it is passed on from the metallic rod, as metal is a good conductor of electricity, and the same charges are getting produced in the aluminum foils also. Okay, now both the aluminum foils, they are negatively charged, so they will repel each other. That means they will diverge from each other. Now as they are diverging from each other, we can say that the metallic rod is charged, and the metallic rod is charged by the help of this glass rod. Okay, same if we are having the positively charged object, and when we are taking it nearer to our electroscope, then our aluminum foils are getting positively charged. Here also both are positively charged, that means both are same charge, and so they will again repel each other. Okay, so this is how the electroscope functions, and by this we can come to know whether the object which we have taken, it is charged or not. Now, next phenomena is of earthing. Now, what is earthing? Firstly, this is the define of earthing. Now, the process of transferring an electric charge from a charged object to the earth is called earthing. Now, in the last video, we learned about that when we are charging any object, okay, that is the non-conductor of electricity, okay, at that time, what happens, like the plastic we are taking, when we are rubbing the plastic, at that time charge is getting produced in that plastic, and as our body, as our hand, it is a good conductor of electricity, the charges from the plastic are not getting transferred to our hand. But instead, if we are taking a metallic spoon or a metallic rod, we are not able to charge the metallic rod, because whatever charge are getting produced in that metallic rod, they will be transferred from the metallic rod to our hand, and ultimately from our body it will go to the earth, and this process is known as earthing. Now same it is happening when we are touching the metallic top of the electroscope. Now as we are taking the glass rod near the electroscope, what we are doing, we are transferring the charge from glass rod to the metal top of the electroscope. But when we touch the electroscope, metal top of electroscope with our hand, at that time what happens, whatever charge is present in the electroscope, that means earlier the aluminum foils, they were diverging from each other, but when we touch the metallic top of this electroscope, this aluminum foils will drop down. That means they will no more diverge from each other, and this is why, because when we touch the metallic top, the charges from the metal rod came to our transfer to our body, and from our body it is then transferred to the earth. Okay, and this process is known as earthing. Now earthing is also provided in the wiring of our houses to protect us from electric shock, as whenever we are doing wiring in our houses, that means electricity, it is nothing but the flow of electrons. So in order to prevent ourselves from electric shocks, earthing is done in the wiring of houses also. Then big metal rods are also placed at the top of the houses and buildings. Why these are placed? Because whenever the lightning occurs, okay, whenever there is a huge electric charge getting produced in the atmosphere, these metal rods, they will just absorb the electric charge from the atmosphere, and these metal rods are directly connected to this earth. So whatever charge is produced in the atmosphere, they will be transferred from the atmosphere to the earth. by nullifying the charge of the atmosphere. The last topic is electric discharge. Now, what is electric discharge? Generally, we know that air is a poor conductor of electricity, bad conductor of electricity. Air does not conduct any electricity, but sometimes when the amount of charges in the atmosphere goes on increasing, like when there is a very high amount of charge in the atmosphere, at that time the air conducts electricity in the form of spark. That means sparkling, lightning, what we can say, which we are generally aware of at the time of monsoon season. And the electric energy, whatever is there in the atmosphere, it heats up the air to a very higher temperature that we can see the spark producing in the atmosphere. Okay, we can see the sky glowing. Now, this passage of electric current in air is due to the movement of electric charges, and this is termed as electric discharge. Now, if you want to study this process of electric discharge, you can also conduct a small experiment at your home. Just take two charged balloons, okay? That means rub the balloon with a wool and then take two oppositely charged balloons, tie them together. Okay, when we are tying them together with a knot on a rod, and then try to light a matchstick between the two oppositely charged balloons. At that time you will see that some kind of spark is getting produced, and along with that spark you will see the glow. Okay, and a crackling sound will be produced, that is known as thundering. Now whenever this electric discharge is taking place, the oppositely charged, whatever opposite charges are present, they will get nullified, or whatever charges are present in the atmosphere, they will get nullified. This process is known as electric discharge. So this was all about electricity, electric charges and electric discharge. In the next lecture, you will be learning about the phenomena of lightning and earthquake.